Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. So today in this video we'll be talking about Terraform. So I believe any of you might have already heard about Terraform and might be knowing about it. But for those who have joined us for today for the first time and are starting to learn about Terraform, let me cover from the basic what is Terraform. Okay, so Terraform is launched by the company HashiCorp, that is the parent company for Terraform. And Terraform is an infrastructure as code tool used to provision and manage resources across various cloud providers. It can also be used for on-premise deployments. It enables declarative configuration to define the desired state of infrastructure. So declarative configuration means that we can define what is the exact state of the infrastructure that we want to have. Okay. And there are some other tools that you might have often heard of, like Ansible, Packer. The difference between these tools is and Terraform is that Terraform is an infrastructure automation tool, whereas Ansible or Packer are configuration management tools. So uh, they enable us or help us to change the configuration or modify the configuration of the existing infrastructure. And with Terraform, we can provision new infrastructure as well. Okay, so today in this video, we'll be trying to cover what is Terraform and how do we initiate Terraform, how do we install it, and we'll be creating some basic resources on AWS with Terraform. So we'll be creating two EC2 instances on Terraform using Terraform on AWS. So let's start. So first of all, we need to have Terraform installed on our machine. So I'm using a Mac. So the installation instructions are available on this website. That is the official website of Terraform. And you can find the instructions for the installation for different OSs like Linux and Windows. On Windows, it is Terraform is installed by a package management system that is Chocolatey, or there are some other alternates as well. So you can use whatever you prefer to install Terraform. Let us know in the comment section if you need more help in installing the Terraform for Windows or any other operating system, so that we can share detailed description, or maybe in another video we can cover the installation in detail. So in my case, I'm using Mac and I already have installed Terraform. Apart from Terraform, uh, the second tool that we would be needing is the AWS CLI. So as you might already be aware, AWS CLI is the command line tool for AWS, and the reason why we need it, we'll be covering that in the video shortly. So I'll explain why we need AWS CLI. Okay, so here you can see that I have logged into my AWS account and the number of current instances is 0. So these are the running instances 0, and you can see there are no instances at all in this region. Okay, so first of all, let me go to the terminal. This is the current directory that I am in, and if I show you, it contains 3 files only. First one is the AWS CLI package, because I just installed AWS CLI. So for the first time when you install AWS CLI, you need to configure it. So this is the command AWS configure. Since I don't want to change anything, I'll keep it as same. You need to enter your access key ID for the first time, or if you want to change them, and secret access key as well. Similarly, you can input a default region name, but that is optional, and default output format is also optional. Once you're done, uh, so as I was telling, the AWS CLI is now configured. So as I was telling that we'll be discussing the the reason why we need AWS CLI in the first place. So let me show you the code once. So I'm using Visual Studio Code as the editor in this case. So as you can see, this is the main.tf file. So main.tf file is basically the main file that Terraform uses or looks up to it. So whatever we define in the main TF file gets read by the Terraform. And then the second file is terraform.tf state. So this contains the information about the existing state of the infrastructure. So we'll be covering this code in detail in later videos. So for a basic understanding and brief view, and the basic and first video, let me just cover this some important points. So we initialize the provider AWS because we are using AWS in our environment. In this example, we can also use Azure or any other cloud provider, or we can do this on-premise as well. For AWS, we need to declare the provider as AWS. Then we are calling access key and secret key from a variable. So this is a way to authenticate on AWS. Like, you need to authenticate your session on AWS, right, before you can provision or deploy any infrastructure resources. So one option is to pass the access key and secret key as variables, and we can declare that in the var file, in the variable file. That is a separate file which we'll be talking in the next video. We'll create that file and we'll look at the usage of variable file. Then region, we can also pass from the variable, but in this case I have hard coded it. Okay, so since we are using Ireland, so let me go back and change it to EU West 1. Okay, so this is the region that we are using. Here we are referencing the AWS access key and AWS secret key, and region default is this, so I can change it to EU West 1. So you might notice that there are some duplicate variables declared here which we don't need, but this is a this file is this file will be used in the future examples and future lessons also. So I have made it accordingly. So please ignore this for now. And then we have also declared a local variable AWS regions, which we have created as a map or string, and we have assigned the values of in the map like this. So wherever if we reference Ohio, the Terraform will understand that we are pointing to US East 2. Similarly, if I input Ireland here and then we say EU West 1, so now we can use Ireland anywhere we need it. Similarly, we have created a variable for operating system. We have again selected map type, and we have assigned two AMI IDs. For Windows, we'll be using this AMI ID, and for Linux, we'll be using this AMI ID. Then we had created another variable AMIs for a different example, from which we want to call the AMI IDs region wise. Like if you want to deploy anything in EU West 1, this AMI ID will be used. This is a dummy entry. And if you want anything to be created in US East 2, then we will then this Terraform will use this AMI ID. Okay, perfect. So now we'll proceed to the resources section. So in resource section, we declare what resource we need. So we need an AWS instance. This tells the system that we will be creating an EC2. And then in the next part, we assign a name to it, TF instance Linux. It can be anything that you want to call it. Instance type, we select as T2 micro. Key name, you can create any key on the AWS console and input the key name here. In next lessons, we'll be creating the key name as well we'll pass it as a variable, and we'll create the key names while deploying this. In this example, we are using an existing key pair. Monitoring is equal to true. VPC security group IDs. This is the security group ID. Subnet ID. This is the subnet ID. For AMI, you can see we are referencing this variable that we just discussed. The first one for operating system, and in operating system we have selected Linux, so this will refer to this AMI ID. Cool. In root block devices, we are saying we need a volume size of 30 in GB. This is a comment. Volume type is GP3. Encrypted is equal to true. IAM instance profile, we are also associating an instance profile for SSM access. So the role name is SSM admin role. Okay, and these are the tags that will be added to the EC2 instance once it has been created. Then we add another resource section in this same file. If you notice, we are using the same instance type, but the name of the instance is TF instance Windows. So we created a Linux instance in the upper part, and now we are going to create a Windows instance. So monitoring is equal to true, security group ID is this, subnet ID is this, and in name ID, we are referencing the operating system variable again, and we are using Windows as value. Windows, so we'll be using the AMI that we saved for Windows. This one. Okay. So again, having a 30. We'll be needing a 30 MB volume size, GP3 volume. This will be the root block device information, and we'll attach a IAM instance profile. And in tags, we are adding the tags. So this is a very basic and very kind of a beginner friendly Terraform file to create two resources on AWS. Okay, so let's head back to. I hope that is clear. You can ask any questions if you have in comments. So let's head back to the terminal. Okay, so we are in this same directory, and if I do ls, we can see this file exists, main.tf terraform.tf state. Perfect. So whenever we are running Terraform for the first time, we need to use Terraform init. So this is a command, and when we do this, Terraform will initialize all the providers. So this will, since we are using AWS, by this command, Terraform will initialize and download any dependencies of the AWS provider. Okay. So the next command that we need to use is Terraform plan. So Terraform plan will show us what what are the changes that Terraform is going to perform. It will not make any changes. It will not create any infrastructure resources. It will just show a list of the plan. So let's hit enter. So as you can see, it is asking for access key because we are not referencing that variable file. I have removed that file from the folder for now. So what I'm gonna do is I'll again create a return. Sorry, I'll again press the enter button. It will ask for the secret key. So I'll again press enter, and it will authenticate. Cool. So the plan command worked. So the important point to note here is that it got authenticated even though we did not supply any access key and secret key. So do you know how that worked? That worked because of AWS CLI. So this is the most recommended and secure way to authenticate uh, Terraform and AWS Terraform when using it with AWS in production environments. So in real-time scenarios and in production environments, this is how Terraform authentication is mostly performed. There are many other ways as well, using secret manager or using variables or modules, but this is the most friendly, user friendly, and the most popular tool. So if you have AWS CLI installed and configured on your system, Terraform is intelligent enough to identify the configuration, and it will refer to that configuration to find the access key and secret key. Cool, right? So let's look at the plan. So as we can see, the green plus sign indicates that these resources will be created. So it is using an AMI ID, and this is the information of the EC2 instance. The IAM instance profile is here, subnet is here, tags are here, all are in green and all are in plus, so that means nothing is being removed. In the in the last lines, we can see plan to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. So by this line, Terraform plan is telling us that it will be adding two resources, will not be changing anything, and will not be destroying anything as per the current main.tf file. So the next command to use is Terraform apply. Again, hit enter. So it will ask you whether you want to perform these actions. This is just a double check to avoid any human error. This warning can be suppressed by using hyphen auto approve yes with the apply command. But for being on a safer side, it is recommended that you do not use auto approve and just type yes if you are sure that you want to go ahead. So it says creating. So if we go back to the AWS console and we refresh the page, currently it is not creating anything. Okay. Let me look back at the main.tf. Yeah, everything is as we intended. Yeah, that's what I was suspecting. Okay, so we did this error. We I believe we created the instances in Ohio. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, the instances are created. These are the two instances that are getting created. If we check the instance details, we could have supplied the region parameter, but we didn't. Okay, no issues. That's fine. So one of the instances is using Windows AMI, and if we look at the other one, this one is using, yeah, this is Linux AMI. This is Amazon Linux 2023. The IAM role is attached. If we go to the storage section, it has a 30 GB volume of GP3 type. Perfect. And if we go to the tags, you can see that the tags we wanted have also been created. And if we go back to the terminal, it says apply complete resources created. So yeah, it worked. That's how we can use Terraform to deploy infrastructure with automation without having to go to the console. So after the testing is done, the next command we're gonna use is Terraform destroy. Now be very cautious when using Terraform destroy in production environments, because once we hit enter, it will start deleting the instances or any of the resources that were created. Yeah, so here now if we see at the if we look at the description or the statements, you can see that everything is marked in red and with a minus sign. This indicates that these resources are going to be deleted once we hit input yes and hit enter. So Terraform should now start deleting the resources that were created. If we go back to the console, yep, the instances are getting terminated. So I will again say that be very cautious when using Terraform Destroy if the environment you're using is not a test account. Yeah, so you can see that the instances are terminated and all the resources that were created with these instances, the volumes, they are also terminated. Perfect. So I hope you like this video and I hope you find this informative and keep watching. We'll be meeting again in the next videos and we'll be discussing Terraform more in detail and we'll be talking about variables and modules and some more complex stuff. So hit like, comment and subscribe if you like this video and if you want us to continue making such videos. Till then, take care. Bye bye.